How's it going? How are you all? Let's start with some information about what's happening around the world. Wow, there was a tremendous eruption in one of those distant volcanoes, right? It's located over there in Russia, right? In the Kamchatka region. According to reports, this fumarole you see here is really far from the volcano. And well, according to what they say, it's already 8 kilometers. The fumarole is pretty big. There's been a lot of activity happening in the Pacific in these last few days. From what we saw yesterday in California, in Oregon today precisely there was significant activity, a 5.7 by the way. Well, important activity in the Ring of Fire. Cool. On this occasion, according to reports from Kamchatka, the Russian Academy of Sciences is showing this situation. Meanwhile, Jesus Narro, the first comment of the day. How have you been? Jesus Narro. Also to MT, greetings. Thank you very much to everyone, community that's arriving. How are you? Yeah, Blues, like number 6, awesome. And Francisco Arce, big greetings to you too. How have you been? Thanks for joining in. Mundo. And look, let's get into the details of what's happening around the world. Check out the next image. This is an image that's, well, historic. Look at the background, the size of the place. This is Kim Jong-un. According to reports, the Korean leader is inspecting a new factory for the production of tourism materials. Its weapons-grade capacity has doubled in just the last 5 years. But they say that if the next phase for North Korea is exponential, they're looking to have many more nuclear weapons. And this, obviously, well, what do you do now? What did you do before? Who would mess with them? Oh no, don't make nuclear weapons. So why would anyone? Because they already have them. And right now, if they say they're going to make another 1,000, well, no one is going to get into a fight with them, obviously with North Korea. Besides, it's an ultra, super close country. How do you even carry out espionage or gather intelligence inside? There's no way. And that's true. They have entire departments just for spying, even for stealing cryptocurrencies, among other things, abroad. So they have a lot of experience in hybrid warfare if they wanted to do it, right? But they also have little, let's say, that country is very well shielded in that common sense. They have many shortcomings with many problems as well, but obviously from a military point of view, they are now more of a risk than ever, a huge issue, right?
Exactly. And also today, they warn that they will have new facilities to produce fuel for nuclear bombs. And well, the idea is that they accelerate it at an exponential rate, according to what Kim Jong-un says. The North Korean agency said the facilities use more advanced technology, but gave no further details.
Impressive. Well, there are the details. Look, here's another image, which is what we're seeing here at this point.
Here we are seeing something is happening in Somalia.
Let's listen to a bit of this. I told you this morning about the shootings, but there were no images yet. Atado aparentemente al gobierno. In Mogadishu, the capital of Somalia, according to reports, possibly a coup or an attempted coup, and that's because armed opposition groups have apparently been attacking the government. This is happening along with protests that have taken place recently against the government's one-year extension. In other words, the government wants to extend its term by 1 more year and the opposition does not. They don't want it. They obviously don't want that, and they say if they don't leave, we'll force them out. So, well, what's happening in Somalia is really serious. So keep an eye on that situation. It could be the beginning of a civil war. It could be the start of a coup d'etat, or at the very least, serious unrest, because you can already hear weapons being fired. They've been handling that issue since this morning, so stay alert. Also, well, we see this image. Let's listen to a bit of this.
Here we are seeing a drone used by the company General Cherry called Strikes, which was designed to counter the Shaheds, these Iranian drones that have greatly affected Ukraine.
So it's like an anti-drone drone. It's really crazy.
Anti-drone drone.
It's a Ukrainian company, I guess, right?
Yes, it's called General Cherry, and this one Strikes.
I mean, General Cherry, the General Cherry, it's called Cherry. Well, listen, another thing is this explosion.
Where it was hidden. This is the attack that happened this morning at the airport in Cuba, where 1 person lost their life and there are 63 injured.
Yes. 63 injured, and I have about 16 left.
No.
Me 63 injured.
But nothing's happening, gentlemen. The ceasefire hasn't been broken. Donald Trump said ceasefires in these Middle Eastern territories never last long.
Yes, they shoot less now, and it's supposed to be a ceasefire. I mean, it's incredible. I mean, they attack you like that, and nobody defends you, and you can't do anything either. So what is the United States calculating in this situation? Let's move on to other important matters. What's happening here?
Here we are seeing, well, even though right now a ceasefire has just been established between Lebanon and Israel, Israel carried out several attacks on Al Yassani in Gazani in Lebanon just a few moments ago.
And even so,
Yes, and now we're going to the report where they claim there will be a ceasefire, but we still see this happening.
well, yes. Well, we were talking about the ceasefire a little while ago during the broadcast, but we'll talk about it right now. Look, the thing is that Israeli warplanes are carrying out attacks right now in Lebanon, which honestly seems hard to believe. They agreed with the Lebanese government to have certain areas, let's say, under their control. They call them pilot zones, controlled by the Lebanese government, not Hezbollah, which will not be allowed there, and Israel promises not to attack these zones. So that way the civilian population will know that they can live there peacefully in theory. That's part of what's being reported right now. Hey, as we go along, let's keep commenting, helping out, sharing, and giving it a like. Sometimes that's just how platforms work, when videos aren't shared or don't reach the whole community. And that also says something. If the community doesn't participate, then the videos don't get distributed either. So you can also help us get the video distributed within the community by liking, sharing, and leaving your comments. Hey, another image we're seeing on this topic of Lebanon is this one. Look, there you can see one of the explosions that was reported, in which, by the way, a paramedic is said to have lost his life. This, well, is also a tremendous part of what's happening in the conflict, which in theory is under a ceasefire at this moment. Well, also, we have this image of Donald Trump. What's going on here?
Well, here it's a strange, let's say, mistake, because he claims that, well, Martin Luther King had 1 million people speaking, and that he's going to have more than 25,000 at an upcoming speech. Is he going to have them in the pool, this new infinity pool he's fixing up? I think that's what it was going to be.
Okay. In which pool?
It's the one that's really famous from the movie with, what's her name? Cosima. I forgot the name. The movie with Tom Hanks. Yes, Forrest. Forrest, do you remember where they cross? Yes. Well, they're fixing it up and all that. And well, it's going to be huge according to him.
Let's listen.
He walks outside of the pool where people walk or stay. And that's where Martin Luther King made his great speech. 1 million people?
Well, right there in this famous kind of pool they have in front of the Capitol and the White House and all this area, and everything is close together. That's supposedly where he says he expects to have a lot of people. He says Martin Luther King had 1 million people and I'll have 25,000, which is way more people. I mean, his math was really off. A slip, right? Lately, the slips made by the President of the United States, Donald Trump, have been happening very often. Obviously, if you got it, that's it. Well, it's fake news and I don't know what else and blah, blah, blah. But fake news is based on false information. And here there is evidence that is being seen daily. Something is happening with Trump's health as well. Well, this image is drawing attention today. Members of the CNCEN broke into the CEP office on Universidad Avenue. This, well, draws attention. Some images of these movements have been circulating on social media. It's the teachers' union. And well, now they're even talking about vandalizing facilities. It's obviously a concerning issue, especially with the World Cup coming up. Also, well, there's a very interesting issue being reported in these images where you can still see, the famous drones. But these are drones that on this occasion entered right in the middle of the International Economic Forum in broad daylight. Not that it's good. Reach some points at refineries over there in St. Petersburg, where that forum is taking place, and obviously that has caused a lot of reactions. Let's move on to several matters regarding what's happening. But first, there's an accusation against 2 scientists for handling extremely dangerous materials over in the United States. Let's take a closer look. Notice that it's being reported we're looking at these microscope images, which sometimes show certain diseases or conditions. But this time, reports from the United States say that 2 scientists may have handled material with this. What do they call it? Monkeypox. What do they call it?
Monkey virus?
The monkey virus or Mpox, which according to reports, they might have handled or brought into the United States without permission. No.
Well, it turns out that 2 scientists from a laboratory called Rocky Mountain Laboratories in the United States, right now they are already facing federal charges because they tried to enter the United States with tubes containing inactive samples of the Mpox virus. They didn't get the proper authorization. Obviously, it is possible. This can happen. This happened in Detroit, where the accusation was made, according to Vincent Monster, and of course, both of them failed to declare the samples when returning from the Republic of Congo. They came from the Republic of Congo to Detroit with these tubes, with the Mpox, and they didn't fill out the form. Now they're already facing several charges. The other times we've talked about similar topics, it was about Chinese scientists who brought viruses that affect agricultural matters, and well, the authorities found these samples in the luggage. The scientists were inspected at the airport and they were coming from Congo, then Paris, and well, according to Monster, he denied transporting materials. Biological materials were involved, but later analysis proved this was a lie. Due to missing permits and hiding information, there's a criminal complaint. That's very serious and shocking. Also, well...
That's very serious. That issue as well, it's really shocking. También, bueno, pues, hoy. This image I mentioned to you today, in which they ask Trump, what does ceasefire mean? Let's go to it right now. Well, it's kind of funny, but not really. But it's a really serious topic.
Urbano brothers, how do you define ceasefire? Do you define ceasefire?
The President, pretty much the way it is. It's a different part of the world. You know, I'd say in that part of the world, a ceasefire is when you're shooting in a more moderate manner.
The White House. Do you define ceasefire? A journalist asks Donald Trump in the Oval Office. And he stays there thinking, and he gets these tremendous answers, so to speak, in which he basically comes up with them off the cuff, saying, well, it depends on what area of the world we're talking about. There in the Middle East, a ceasefire means that they don't shoot that much. Well, that's a tremendous topic, isn't it?
Yes, I mean, how ridiculous that we're at a point where we have to define what a ceasefire is, when I think the word itself says it all.
What does alto mean? And what does fuego mean?
Are we talking about...
It depends, right? Fire in Greenland. Well, maybe it's more like ice, right? But I don't know, right? Does alto mean high as in height or stop as in stopping? I don't know, right? There are already a lot of pretty interesting blunders. What do I say? If it were a comic sketch, it would be great, right? This is like for Saturday Night Live, and you don't need to take anything off. Just put it like that. What happened? And it's going to be pretty funny. Also, well, another thing is this image that we're seeing here.
We're still seeing the tensions in Somalia. Right now, the first images we saw of what we heard, seeing the shots. That's insane, isn't it? This is from a mortar projectile in the area of Calex in the district of Honda in Mogadishu, which, well, right now we were talking about this area where, well, there are already beginning to be more effects on several neighborhoods in the capital of Somalia.
And also within this, unfortunately, a woman was injured. It's a projectile. We're already talking about the fact that it's anything that's happening in Somalia. Watch out for this, because there are a lot of radical groups, among them ISIS and others, that, well, one of those can also take advantage of the chaotic situation, right? It's now that in the midst of the chaos, well, this type of group suddenly appears. Also, well, pay attention to this image. That's from the Congress. That's the United States. Let's see what happens at that moment. Look, at first glance, here we have the image. Let's see if we can put it there.
What's going on here?
The US just approved today a resolution that orders the end of the war against Iran. It is a resolution where 4 Republicans go to the Democratic side, approved by 215 to 208, which, well, is more than anything symbolic. It's that the war against Iran will, but let's say that if it officially becomes a war, because the thing is, it's not even a war yet. Still, according to them, than it could happen if it is accepted by them.
It's also tremendous, this issue, because in the end, what we see is that Congress is, at least for now, only half involved in this issue. They criticize all the handling, but there is little real action. True, just a little real reaction in the end. In the end, it's still not enough. Well, there is a Republican majority, and that has shielded President Trump, at least so far. But that will be different after the elections. Yes, it is. The Democrats on this think things are good as they are, and that's what the polls say, at least, because that's probably how it's going to be. But if we don't see it, good night to everyone in the community. Marcela, how have you been? Nova's dad, sending big greetings. The father of Novak, enormous greetings. Ofe Mendez, the community is after those who don't comment. Big greetings too. Who are also obviously a very important part of the channel, although they cannot comment because obviously everyone is appreciated. Look, let's go to other details, not other matters, also important. Let me. I'm checking in with you to see how oil is doing. No. Well, look, it's still at 90. Look, it's still 99 with 63 in Asia right now. That is, it's not at $100. It hasn't broken the barrier. It reached 100 today, but it hasn't broken it. There it is between 99 and 100 at least. Well, not at 10.0, 99 and 100 at least, because it doesn't shoot up even more, even though it's a very high price, which, well, brings profits to oil countries, especially in Latin America. Here, well, of being more or less at peace, let's say. And that, well, is also important. Trop. Also, with what is happening there, according to what the NOAA and the U Hurricane Center publish, it shows that we officially have a tropical storm. This is in the very distant Pacific of Mexico. But I say this to keep you informed. There's Amanda, not Amanda Miguel. No, not Amanda. Yes, that's how it is. That's what this tropical storm is. But if we see where it is headed, it's going to the west. It was going to the west in your case because it's heading toward Hawaii. What might catch your attention is that there are two phenomena forming in the Pacific, close to Central America and Mexico. We are seeing that towards, for example, El Salvador, possibly maybe even Guatemala, and evidently the southern states of the country, because they could be full of rain. Maybe that's it. Two events, one after the other, are forming at this time, and both have a 40% probability of becoming a hurricane. So if you live in the south of the country, if you live in Central America, especially in those countries, Guatemala, El Salvador, Sobre, especially these two, well, be aware of the reports, because if this phenomenon develops, it's a good topic to pay attention to. Let's move on to other important issues. We have 8 scandals over there in Russia. Between Russia and the Czech police and the Orthodox Church, and a crazy situation that's happening there. Let me see the image first, because honestly, it really has been surprising. I mean, they're showing the image here, right? What we're seeing there is, well, this shipment of coke, those are suitcases with cocaine. But the thing is, the Russian Orthodox Church is heavily involved in taking coke to Europe. Just imagine. Now it turns out that through Brazil, the Czech Republic, Russia, the Orthodox Church, that's how they were sending this. Now all the evidence is there, right? There are the packages being taken, right? It's incredible. Just look at the discovery, just the size of this little problem, right? 500 kilograms of coke. According to what the Russian Orthodox Church reports, this has been or has caused one of the worst scandals and a very hard blow to their operation. The Czech police say that the powder found in the car of Metropolitan Hilarion of the Russian Orthodox Church was indeed coke, according to what Denif now reports. Denif. Today it has been confirmed that this comes from Brazil, and that raises, well, a rather strange network of crime, politics, religion, all mixed together. Incredible, isn't it?
Well, basically, it's the same logistics that the Revolutionary Guard has. And how does it? Hezbollah with the drug issue that goes to Venezuela. From Venezuela is distributed to different places. Some go to Europe, some go to the United States. And with that, Hezbollah is financed, and also the Revolutionary Guard Corps is financed. So it's a scheme that's already very well known by Iran and, well, simply Russia. I'm not sure how long they've been repeating it, but the reality is the Russian Orthodox Church. Well, if there's something they've made very clear since the beginning of the war with Ukraine, it's that they are a spy network in favor of the government.
There's a comment that someone I know made to me, someone who went to Russia about 25 years ago, more or less. And he told me, well, it was his first time going to Russia. And obviously Russia was no longer part of the Soviet Union by then and all that. And he mentioned something really curious. He told me, just imagine you're looking at a city full of casinos. Casinos everywhere. We're discussing St. Petersburg, the influential group that brought in Vladimir Putin. Yes, Vladimir Putin has always been connected to mafia groups from St. Petersburg, specifically because they control a lot of things there, including casinos and all that. It's a very beautiful city with a lot of things really cool, but besides that, it has that extra, let's say it gained a lot of momentum, and it still has momentum. And now, well, that relationship between Putin, the Russian Orthodox Church, and those criminal groups that are already infiltrated over there in Europe, right? That gives money power. It also gives power to create trouble when it comes to a hybrid war. So all those networks and mafia connections are there, operating with a lot of cash, a lot of money that comes from where? Well, through those sales, right? So it's pretty intense. And Brazil too, right? Really involved in that sense all the way. Now let's move on to other important matters. Speaking of scandals, well, Trump won't let go of the Einstein issue, and now there's talk of another scandal. But this time involving a current official, right? What's going on there? What's the situation?
It's an official who was just appointed. His name is Ben Black, and he's the director of the Government Investigation Agency, which is not a very well-known agency. Let's say one of those agencies that the United States has in the shadow. And it's funded with billions of dollars from, well, American taxpayers' money. And, well, this person, Ben Black, who you see in the image, has personal and business ties with Jeffrey Epstein, according to emails and documents published by the Department of Justice itself. This isn't hidden, Steny. According to the New York Times and Bloomberg, his father, Leon Black, had also been a client of Epstein and the one who had paid Epstein the most money. Turning to these topics, we have to remember that Epstein also managed things like savings, stocks, and many of these matters.
That was like his specialty?
It was like his cover, right? Yes, according to The Guardian's investigation, which analyzed 5,000 documents from Epstein's private correspondence that were published, it reveals that Ben Black invested in the same company, just like his father in 2011, and that both of them maintained a relationship for several years. Epstein told a friend that he attended Ben Black's 30th birthday party, and that he advised him on a house he was going to buy, because he also dealt with real estate, and he helped a woman write messages, send messages to a girl. So is there a relationship? No, not just in the financial aspect, but he also helped him get a girl at that time.
To this individual there, to this individual, well, there it is. Things keep coming out, even from people who are still in office. What does it mean that this network of friends is still operating and still functioning there? And that's why, look, we won't see anything about this issue until there's enough pressure. Who will apply pressure if Democrats are involved too? It's a complicated issue, but let's hope it eventually comes out and that a group will handle it. Some Republicans and Democrats support making the documents public and investigating, while others in both parties do not. So it's a really strange clash because a group has formed. Basically, like the people tied to Epstein against those who aren't. But unfortunately, right now the ones in power are those who are close to that person. How do they keep causing scandals? And why do these figures keep appearing? You say, if they wanted to set those people aside, they would have isolated them already. But they don't isolate them. They let them operate. Now that's another topic. Let's move on to other subjects, also international ones. Poland breaks the world record with a military acquisition deal. Hey, Poland, that's impressive. They're going all out, arming themselves to the teeth.
They're on fire?
On fire. They're on fire. In the last 3 days, Poland has signed 62 military agreements. I mean, just in 3 days. This is worth, listen, just the amount. 33,000, that number is starting to worry me. $33 billion. According to reports, 146 Borsuk infantry fighting vehicles, 96 155mm self-propelled scrap buses or artillery, and 64 mortars. Well, I'm not going to read the list because it's really long and we won't finish here all night. Will all these weapons actually be delivered? Or will they arrive as promised? In the coming months, everything will be delivered by 2030. This process is very fast. For military terms, this is a very quick delivery. Yes, it means that there is a tremendous acceleration from Poland to be ready and on the defensive in case of any war situation with Russia. Basically, that's it. Who knows what they are seeing and what they are calculating, because the Baltic countries and Poland are already on alert, even today. Oh, I was telling you this morning that today, Wednesday, right? We're live for the first time. Today, Wednesday, it was formalized. The request has already been made directly to the Secretary of Defense, Secretary of War, PJSR. The request was formalized for them to set up a base. Not a temporary base, a permanent base in Poland, run by the United States. They also raised their hand to tell them, hey, put nuclear weapons here. I mean, the Americans, put us under your nuclear umbrella. The Baltic countries and Poland want American nuclear weapons, just like Poland has them. Since Poland has Russian nuclear weapons, well, we want them too, right? So, well, this issue is moving pretty fast. Hey, look, it's incredible. But everything is so connected, right? The tech CEO from California named Hashmit Gomi was reportedly arrested. Careful. For supplying Iran's nuclear and military programs with equipment that only they sell. In other words, very specialized high-tech equipment. Selling from the United States, from a company based in California, to Iran. Obviously, this is huge. All these kinds of tools are subject to sanctions, and right now this CEO has been arrested. This is developing information that we will keep working on, I think in the coming days, because it's going there. But what does it mean that all these topics are so interconnected? I mean, it's very easy for these groups and these countries to even infiltrate the enemy's technology at the highest level. And I mean, now it's already known. But how long did they have this exactly?
This person, who, by the way, has a pretty big house in Newport Beach, California, is the CEO of a technology company based in Iran. He was accused of violating US sanctions against Iran by acquiring advanced equipment, sophisticated US-made security networking and encryption equipment for Iranian clients, including the Iranian regime's nuclear and military program. That aside,
the company is in California. So that's exactly why, let's say, that was the issue, right? I mean, you can't export this kind of, let's say, tool, so to speak, right?
And interestingly, it all starts with an IRS investigation, which is like the tax authority here in Mexico or Spain, people in charge of taxes, because they started to notice that there were some pretty interesting transfers coming from abroad, which were going to the accused.
Well, the issue is with the accused. Listen very carefully to the following, because today a report is being published, which is the Russia 2050 report. In that report, 3 scenarios are presented or proposed, and all 3 scenarios, by the way, are war. In other words, Russia is not considering anything other than a conflict. So they propose 3 scenarios, and all 3 scenarios are war. But one of the scenarios that is favorable to them, the one they like the most, let's say, like their favorite scenario, right? What is their favorite scenario? a scenario that was presented at the St. Petersburg Economic Forum. And their scenario is, or includes, a nuclear attack, right? It also includes the complete disintegration of the European Union. I mean, Russia openly says they don't want the European Union anymore. And not only that, but they have already planned that, at least by 2050, there will be at least one nuclear attack. I mean, that's the optimistic scenario. The scenario, let's say, their preferred favorite one, right? The most important economic forum in Russia, held, by the way, today, June 3rd, well, they say this is part of what's being shown. By the way, at the same time this was being shown, you can see these images where Ukrainian drones were entering the region where the forum is being held. And obviously causing a series of explosions, showing that the war has already reached them. It's already knocking at their door. And obviously that's a topic that the Kremlin basically doesn't like.
And well, today with the start of this forum, a report called Russia 2050 is being presented, which is a document that outlines different scenarios for the war's strategic future. The person presenting it is named Konstantin Malofy, who is a business person and founder of a network called Sargar. He is known for his nationalist monarchist positions and has been sanctioned by the United States since 2014. The scenario described by the authors as positive in quotation marks. Obviously, Russia would achieve a global ideological victory and would consolidate itself with a territorial expansion into several Ukrainian cities. Among the cities mentioned are Kyiv, Odessa, and Kharkiv, as well as other territories that, according to this vision, would end up under Russian control by the year 2050. Another point drawing attention is the inclusion of nuclear weapons used in this scenario, which the authors consider most favorable. The philosopher we've talked a lot about here, Alexander Dugin, is an ultranationalist, but yes, he's extreme. Yes, Putin's philosopher, Alexander Dugin, nuclear weapons, or that he is associated with having dissolved the Russian world. And this is one of the points in this report. So what is the need? It's an idea of how intense it is, and it's a document. He raised the possibility of the disintegration of the European Union, an event that, according to them, is a necessity. What they see as necessary is a world where Russia dominates the international system. According to the narrative, Moscow would end up occupying the central role in providing global security and justice. A formula, then, with an ideological vision, very much influenced by these groups. And the report also presents a neutral scenario, where Russia would fall under the influence of the United States and China, losing autonomous leadership. And the most negative scenario for the authors, where Russia is basically defeated in the war and would later be colonized by the middle of the 21st century. I think we should be careful about.
Well, this topic is really intense, isn't it? But let's move on. Let's go to another topic, to things that are important and happening in the world. Let's move on to other important matters happening in the world. And one of the most important things happening today is that it's Cleobas's birthday. Cleo Vasco.
Congratulations, Cleo. Several world leaders have already commented that they wish you an excellent birthday.
A meeting was held at the UN's and they said, well, let's celebrate Cleo. A big hug.
Greetings, Cleo.
I hope you're doing very well. And honestly, I tell Estrella Striaca that it excites me when people tell us it's their birthday and that they're spending a little time with us. That's very exciting because, well, it means that we're important to you too. And we really appreciate that. Cleo, a big hug to you and to everyone who's having a birthday, especially since there are so many in June. I mean, June started and it's just birthday after birthday after birthday. Maybe you all just want me to congratulate you. Well,
I know now.
Seriously, no. Congratulations. Thank you so much for being here with us. And look, let's move on to other matters, shall we? Hey, hello everyone. And listen, we also have another report from the European Union. Since we're on the topic, because they have finally agreed to start the European Union's negotiations for Ukraine's accession. This is because, remember, Hungary was blocking their ability to negotiate Ukraine's entry into the European Union. Well then, I mean, it's not like it's going to happen overnight either. But they were blocked. They weren't even making progress in the process because everyone had to agree. Now with Hungary without Viktor Orban, well, they all agree now, right? And let's see if Spain doesn't come out, or I don't know, there might be some country that suddenly goes against it like that.
On the foot.
And they step in, and well, who knows? But the point is that the European Union scheduled for June 15 in Luxembourg the start of the formal accession negotiations of Ukraine and Moldova to the European Union. So, well, that's a huge, extremely important topic, obviously.
We should remember that the European Union differs from NATO. This is mainly an economic issue.
Exactly. It's an economic issue. And it's a topic that doesn't necessarily have to do with war, because it's not made for that. It's made precisely to prosper, economically speaking. And well, that's it. Well, I don't know. It gets out of their control, right? Discuss Putin when the European Union leaves, since he no longer holds that control. Ultimately, if I control your economy and gas, I have power. I control that control. Well, let's say you have to do what I say, right? Basically.
We don't do those tricks, right? Like he did with Orban and like he did with Slovakia.
Referring to Germany and the oil issue. He really had them hooked, along with other countries. So Nicole and Frank, how are you?
Greetings, Nicole.
Argentina and Franco from Cordoba, Argentina. Now they're in Argentina.
You're on vacation.
Awesome. Hey, that's really cool. Greetings. Then over there, I was already sending the greeting to Spain, redirected there. I'm redirecting it. So it goes to Argentina. Awesome. Also to Dana Hill. What's up? How have you been? Emma, Viking? Very good. Greetings, Omar. How have you been, Omar? What's up? Oh, it's really cool because now we have an extra screen just for the comments, which later will be up here. It'll be like this. Yeah, we're going to be reading comments here. It's really cool because sometimes, since we have a lot of things open, it was really hard. But now, hey, I have them right here at hand. Super quick.
Yeah. Beto Barra says, he says, hello. Since we were locked down during the pandemic, I told a friend that Poland is buying a lot of military equipment. I think they have more tanks than the rest of Europe combined. Well, they're the most militarily prepared, and the people are too. People need to understand that war is possible, and if it happens, you have no choice but to get involved.
I want to send greetings to Carlos in Poland, who wrote to us recently, and I still owe a reply.
Greetings, Carlos.
No, listen, I saw the comment and meant to reply right away, but didn't, and days passed. Sorry about that. Greetings, Carlos. Yeah, it's just that these are the kinds of topics that get me excited. I thought, look, he was commenting about something about UFOs, but I just saw the comment. When the little chat popped up, I meant to reply right away. But I forgot because I'm so caught up in the news. I'll check it later, Carlos. Sending a big greeting and hug if you're watching from Poland. Rumeki. Because he told us he lives in Warsaw, if I'm not mistaken. And he has told us, since the war with Ukraine started over there, he would tell us how the country was changing, right? I mean, the country has been changing in that sense, hasn't it? In the military aspect and all that, right? After all, they carry that fear because of their history. They've already messed up, so to speak, right? Several times, and this time they say, we're going to be over-prepared, right? Because, well, yes.
Already having done it twice.
Yes, exactly. Let's move on to other important matters. Well, in other news, there are also several topics. The United States, what's happening with China, what's happening with Cuba, and also other topics regarding Trump. Look, first, the United States and its intelligence allies are issuing a joint warning right now. The warning is directed at China. Pay attention to this. Do you remember the organization called Five Eyes? 5 English-speaking countries that have a union on intelligence matters at the highest level. We're talking about the United Kingdom, the United States, Canada, New Zealand, and Australia. The Five Eyes, there they are, right? So according to what they report, these Five Eyes warn. It sounds very, very intense. The whole Five Eyes thing, right? But anyway, very...
James.
Exactly. In the end, it's impossible. Yeah. I mean, there are 5 countries that share all that to the maximum intelligence, information, and all that. And they warn, well, about China, right?
Exactly. They issue a joint warning where they say that China has been using LinkedIn and other job platforms to extract secret information from security professionals around the world. And it's become the platform. LinkedIn, right? LinkedIn to, well, share your work, your work, your career in
No, just because LinkedIn.
LinkedIn. No. Well, the alerts today obviously say that Beijing is using artificial intelligence and other emerging tools to flood professional networks with fake profiles. So basically, they steal your entire resume and send job offers to military officers, spies, and other people with access to classified or sensitive information. Now, this is already a national security issue. It says, in an unusual warning, they alert that China's military intelligence services are using an increasingly wide variety of professional networking sites and online job platforms to recruit military and government personnel from the Five Eyes. And we've already talked about several cases of pilots, for example, from the United States, who start giving lessons to Chinese people on how to fly an F-16. So this topic, well, there have already been several cases we've discussed here, or where they've sold them materials. Here they get into the issue of espionage and how they make contact. Well, it's through these work networks.
An Austral. Yes, the classic case of, for example, I remember one we talked about. It was former US military pilots giving aviation courses in Australia. Right? It all sounds fine, except that coincidentally, the clients were Chinese. They were all Chinese.
Yes.
And not just of Chinese descent, right? You can be from anywhere originally, but you're already Australian. No, they were literally Chinese. Chinese. And they were going to Australia because they were going to the course. Well, yes, except that at the course, they were being given information about US military aviation. By the time they realized they already had the information, they seem focused on the future since they'll have all the information instantly. That's basically it. Just copy and paste, right? Or, anything else about this topic.
No, that's it.
This image catches my attention of a meeting that took place between the Chief of Staff of the United States, those who remain what's left of Chavismo. What was that about? I mean, it really catches my attention. Let's see if we can put up the image that's been circulating on social media. But yes, this topic about Dan Kane, right? Getting involved in a country that literally just took away the person who was the president, let's say in quotes, right? But how was
the topic? Well, it turns out that this person, who is the highest representative of the military in the United States, he arrived today in Caracas, which would be the first official visit to Venezuela, where he met with high-ranking officials of the interim Venezuelan government. The United States Joint Chiefs of Staff visit was led by General Dan Kane. It happens precisely when Delcy Rodriguez is interestingly not in Venezuela. She is currently on an official trip to India. And, well, Kane says he participated. It was in talks with top interim government officials. Besides visiting the Marine Security Augmentation Unit at the embassy, we should remember that military personnel are already present there. Recently, there was a drill to evacuate in case of an emergency, right? They did a whole, a simulation. And, well, this, draws attention, right? The fact of seeing one of the people in charge of basically removing the previous president.
he was operating there?
And already talking with the military. Well, they don't really care about that anymore. So what happened in San Miguel Nicolas?
Yeah, it's really curious. And, well, that and the meeting the other day between US generals and Cuban generals, right? And speaking of Cuba, notice that they've suspended payments with Visa and MasterCard since Saturday. I mean, as I understand it, no foreign bank will be able to have or send money anymore. And that's an issue that's going to affect a lot of people. This is being done by the financial arm of the military conglomerate Gaesa. This also apparently because there was a risk these companies were about to be sanctioned. And, well, to avoid that, they blocked themselves. That's very curious.
The one from Saturday, right?
Starting from Saturday, right?
I understand that starting from Saturday, and, well, Cuba is now unable to receive foreign currency from the sale of goods and services through international cards. And what I'm saying is, well, people, for example, there are Cuban YouTubers who used to receive their money. Well, they won't be getting it anymore, for example.
And family and everything. It's really tough. And also, with this, according to what experts on the whole Cuba-United States issue say, this would be the greatest isolation Cuba has experienced in decades. I mean, it's an isolation like from another era, right? Honestly, this is really tough because life in Cuba is already complicated right now.
But look, with this, Roble, who's in Cuba, says this isn't going to affect Cubans any more than they're already affected. Of course, it's the people in the government.
Well, but they're the ones blocking it themselves, Roble. I mean,
They're not being blocked by...
no. They're blocking it themselves. I mean, they saw something coming, and Cuba was the one who suspended this. I mean,
So they don't get sanctioned?
they saw that the sanction was coming, so they blocked themselves. I mean, you could say they got ahead of it, but the blockade is the same. Anyway, in the end, they're still blocking. I don't know if at some point they're going to open it or what, but, well, that's also part of the strange moves that Cuba is making right now. That's all. Just a curious thing. Now, greetings to Roble, to the entire Cuban community. Greetings to Roble. Tell us, how is the energy supply situation right now? Water, food. I mean, how are you managing? Big shout out to everyone in the community who watched us over there, and thanks for sharing a little bit of what you've been through there. Greetings also to Verderi. He says, poor people in Cuba. He says, between authoritarian and repressive regimes. That's what Verderi says. Verderi, how have you been? Hello there. Greetings also to Brezeka. Hi, Brezeka. How have you been? Vic Sega. He says, yes, basically between a rock and a hard place. Vic Sega says, Papi Estrella says, they paint Panterita blue. He says, she's great at moderating. Everyone loves her. The people are calling for her, says Big C. Vic says, listen up. We're going to have a vote here. To make Panterita the...
I know he goes crazy with power.
Done. I think so. But no, I don't think so. I don't believe you. I don't think so. No, but yeah, maybe later we could look into it. Luckily, it's been a while since a lot of trolls have shown up. But honestly, it's a good thing when they start appearing, because it means YouTube is actually sending the information to new people, to a new community. So yeah, if it happens and someone steps up and we see that they participate and that they're young, fair in their decisions, I'd be happy to support them. We might even become moderators ourselves, because maybe at some point it could be necessary, right? So yeah, good point there. We'll be keeping an eye on things, and yeah, it could happen, but it could mainly be the community, since they have the chance to connect more often. And we want to see that they're fair in the sense that, well, no, we don't censor people for expressing opinions, whether for or against Ukraine, Israel, or any topic, as long as they're not rude or attacking others. That's what I would say. Directly attacking a person or us or anyone in the community, obviously if things get intense with that kind of topic, well, goodbye, right? Because that's not the plan for those kinds of topics. What's it called? Well, when it comes to religion, we first ask that people don't come here preaching any religion, because that's not the idea. This isn't a religious channel, but I mean, also if they keep trolling a lot, right? Like religion, then it's goodbye, right? Because they don't really intend to be here, right?
Yes, but they're not spamming.
Exactly. It's for me. It's not for me. It's the one that's also left out. Greetings. How have you been, Guillermo? Very good, says Noah's dad. Today is Susi Cuatro's birthday. Who is Susi Cuatro? Susi Cuatro.
I don't know them, but they're famous.
It says Raul Castro 95. Maybe it's Susi Castro. Even better.
No, 4. It says Susi 4.
Raul Castro. It couldn't be, let's see, WB. How are you? Greetings.
She's a singer-songwriter and bassist.
Yeah, let's see. That's crazy. I don't know her.
No, she's from the 60s.
All right, now we need to find her. WB says, Tan says, greetings from the Dominican audience. Awesome. How have you been? A big hello. Very good, Vic. Who else is out?
Greetings to Beto Barbas. He says, how come you don't know Susie 4? Well, no, we don't know her.
We know her well.
This one, no, I don't know why we lost touch, but well, we lost her in life. Greetings to Clara Rosa Quiñones. She says, I'm turning 66, I'm Clara. You would be just another one.
Who? Clara.
Clara Rosales Quiñones.
Of course, Rosales, but...
The awesome one says so.
Well, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Hello, Clara. Big hug. Hope you're well.
She's telling the truth.
Thank you for being here.
She is a bassist and singer from the US. Well, here it says she's English. Maybe she's both English and American.
Maybe she is, or maybe she moved to the United States.
Yes, she's British American. Yes, that's right. Greetings also to Panterita. Christy says hi. Hello, Christy. How are you? Hello.
Hey, what's up?
Hello. Here, Leonardo Comilla says, when we realize it, the world will be controlled by chairs and by the chairs. Hello, Leonardo. I hope not. I can't say it.
Is it her? Yes, it's her.
I mean, she sings too.
She sings and she's a bassist. Look at that.
Oh, that's cool. And you can't hear it, right? No, we're just here like fools.
No, I'll download one of her albums later. Let's see how it is. 1980, Susie 4. And besides, the name is really catchy. No, super catchy. I mean, she has a really good presence. Like, you can kind of see the music. I don't know. It just feels that way to me.
I don't think our parents liked it.
It's weird to me that they did. I mean, that they showed it to us or... Yeah, but movies, I don't know. Maybe once, like something, I don't know. I'll check later to see what happened because, yeah. Clara says, you're welcome. Thank you for your contribution. Thank you very much. Same to you, Clara. It was my pleasure. And, well, I hope you have a great time. I hope you had a delicious cake or something. Francisco says, I'm surprised, Pepe, since you're a spider. I know, it surprises me too because, wow, we really like music from the 60s and 70s. I mean...
It's just that it's from the 80s.
Especially that one. Oh. It's just that we usually skip the 80s, although there are exceptions too, right? But if we're not such big fans of the 80s, yes, 80, if it's pure 80s, maybe there. It could be that.
That could be the problem.
That could be the issue, right? No. It's from the post-punk wave. Got it. We'll go.
Hi.
Yeah, no, well then it must be that, you know. But I'll check it out later. Let's see what's up. I mean... And then later when we check, maybe it's possible that, yeah, I already knew this, yeah. But who knows, right? We'll check it out later and see what's up. He says the upload was great and the one before the World Cup was really nice. Glad you saw it, Vic. Greetings, Vic. I'm going to try to do this a little more often, just reactions. Let's discuss less common topics since we rarely talk about the World Cup here. That's it. Nothing else. Well, a lot, what can I say? Like, I don't know if you feel it, but it's kind of a little chaotic. Not too much, but yeah, a little bit of chaos.
Yeah. And well, what happened today, I heard the news again that today is the day for the prize. First day, the team from Japan has already arrived. And today they were supposed to train at a stadium that belongs to UNAM, to UAAN, which is the Autonomous University of Nuevo León. They were supposed to train at this, how do you say it? Yeah.
In a sports area.
In a sports area. They arrived and didn't like it. Merci. So if people say they got upset, I don't know how true that is or if it's an exaggeration. But anyway, that's it. They said they were already looking for where to move. Supposedly they were going to leave for Monterrey. And well, as for the Rayados, they have a field on the highway in El Barrial. They offered to step in so the place wouldn't be left in a bad situation. You say they're worrying about the streets and things that don't even matter. We didn't even need them. We didn't even know we needed them. And you don't have fields for them to play on that are in good condition because they say they were very worn out since they have been used a lot because many teams train there.
Of course. I mean, but which fields were they sent to?
In the end?
No, at the beginning.
In the medical school fields.
I don't know, which ones would those be?
The medical school fields are on Gonzalito.
Yeah.
It's where American football players and sometimes the Tigre team train. They really went too far.
I mean, it's a shame to send them over there. To the one you mentioned, what's it called? El Cerrito or whatever. I mean,
Barrial is El Barrial. El Barrial.
Where Rayados train.
It's called El Barrial. No, not where they train. That's El Cerrito or something like that. El Barrial is the area. No.
If they put it in Barrial, nothing to do with it.
Yeah, no, you already know the place. He says, I mean, and it's really nice, obviously, you know, luxurious, right? I mean, yeah, it's, well, amazing, right? What else is there around?
Should we move on to the news now?
What news?
Yeah. We're already in the comments. Sorry, I was already in the news section. Greetings to Wico and also to Vic, who says they should train on the Santa Catarina River fields so they can roast in the sun and get a tan. Hey, today I was watching someone, I don't remember who it was, but anyway, someone from the team who said it was really hot. And it is really hot, but I like it. And I was like, well, it's not hot yet, buddy. We're just getting started. The little hill, we've got good weather because, well, no, they sent us to this one.
It's the same one. I mean, it's in the muddy area.
You said it was getting hot. but it's not hot yet. Who said that? Someone from the Japan team.
Here we already call this really hot.
It's really hot, but I like it. I like it. And then the bad thing about the Japanese is that they're so diplomatic that I doubt everything they're saying. Greetings to Leonardo, who says, Pepe, I heard that the narco groups are not classified as terrorists. As I understand it, a terrorist has a radical goal based on religion and not a financial one. What do you all think? Thank you.
It doesn't have to be religion. It can be political, for example. I mean, for example, the Kurds, for example, right? Hezbollah, the Kurds. Well, yes, but Hezbollah is kind of Shia. I mean, yes, there is a religious aspect and they want to impose their religion. For the Kurds, it's because they want their own territory or country, right? And it's this, and they carry out terrorist attacks. Well, not all of the groups, because there are many Kurdish groups, right? It's not the Kurds as a whole, it's the PKK, right? They're the ones who are responsible for carrying out those kinds of attacks. And it's a political wing, right? It's a pretty tough one, isn't it? In that sense. And by the way, their leader is in prison, remember? He said that from now on, they would lay down their arms, right? They laid down their arms last year, 2025, but it was a terrorist group, right? Basically, well, it was a terrorist group, at least considered that way by Erdogan and by Turkey, obviously. Well, because they literally went and set up car bombs and things like that. So their idea is to spread terror, to put pressure, right? And yes, it applies. It applies perfectly to organized crime. That's what they do. I mean, they try to create terror. I mean, it's not like it's what, for example, Al Capone did, what the mafia did. Don't you remember that too? No, the Italian mafia, when they suddenly carried out attacks to put pressure, right? Remember, for example, what's his name? The most famous one from Colombia. This Escobar. I mean, he blew up a plane with passengers on board. Over 100 passengers and crew died. Just because he wanted to put pressure on the government. That's terrorism. So many of these criminal groups, yes, they definitely fall under terrorism. They do seek to create terror. And what they do, coming out with weapons in certain towns, when they burn things, with weapons, when they burn tires and all that. Well, yes, of course they create terror. So yes, they should be classified that way. Well, now the government of Mexico doesn't like that classification, that kind of classification. Or Colombia or Brazil and other countries, because under US law, they get stricter, they get tougher.
They grant more permits.
They issue more permits to them. But that's a separate issue. That shouldn't be, right? I mean, the thing is, well, now it's about collaboration. Yes, in that matter, yes. Well, I think the idea of collaborating perfectly applies very well, and there has to be collaboration. It's a matter of national security for Mexico, but not at the disposal of the other, rather at the disposal of mutual interest, right? That also means responsibility for the United States as well, and quite a lot, by the way. But yes, good, very good question. Leon, very good question. He says, sorry, but I'll tell you once again that I had to rent the instruments for the YouTube video, not to brag, but it's the truth. Graf says there isn't any.
I was watching videos of this Bono. Honestly, you can tell he's having a great time in Mexico City. He went dancing. He was eating, I don't know, really good, super.
The cool thing was how they handled it by not putting him in that situation. Well, I mean, if they're in a security bubble, obviously.
You can't see it.
But no, but come on, if they took him to the neighborhoods, if they took him to certain places, well, so he could really get to know them, because those people often only know things very superficially. I mean, it's still superficial, but at least he got a little taste of Mexico City, right?
Exactly. It's cool, for example, when they're filming the video and at one point they take them into someone's apartment. That's really cool because you see that they're super nice. They arrive, they say thank you. The people in the back, I don't know who they were.
Yeah. Executives.
The executives, the makeup people, they didn't even say hi. They didn't care at all. But the group was super nice. They greeted everyone, said thank you, and so on. Yeah, that's right. She says,
A good experience for the father.
yeah, cool, right. She says, Dad, right? World Cup action, Poland, Denmark, Serbia, and Wales, usually in the World Cup, didn't qualify either. Greetings, Dad, right? Says Martin Gutierrez. Pepe, did you see? In one weekend in Miami, an entire family lost their lives. All of them. One at a beach concert, another at a restaurant. The United States has long been a country of armed lunatics.
That's right. It has many problems, especially with guns. So don't mention the topic.
Don't get mad.
They're intense about that issue, right? It's tough.
Or like the joke that Novak's dad was telling the other day. I mean, they'll ask you for a ton of paperwork just to get an aspirin, but to get a weapon, nothing at all. No, not for that. Not for that. No. Greetings, says Novak's dad. They could never catch Capone for his crimes. They could only put him in jail for federal tax evasion. No one escapes taxes in the United States. Yeah, that's just how it is. Greetings. And in the end, Capone already had, well, the attitude of a 12-year-old boy because he had syphilis and it had already affected his brain. Yes. Greetings to Panterita. Here, yes. Let's go get some popcorn. Tin Pepe says another journalist kidnapped in Mexico. Just like Cayetana accused Claudio Sheinbaum very harshly and validated his speeches. I suggest you listen. Well, that's where the comment stays. But yes, we have been looking into that case. Yes. Greetings, Martin.
Greetings, Martin. How have you been?
Yes, true and brutal. These are super simple. We were downtown filming with the amazing rain. Yes, I saw the rain. Yes, how cool, right?
And look at what Beto says.
Let's see, Beto. What does he say? Nelly, where were you? I'm not sure. My wife says she'll be in the YouTube video. It's the one with the small YouTube sign, of course. So that means Beto or Beto's wife was close to seeing Beto. They were in the same universe, in the same...
The universes are starting
To mix.
That's crazy. I mean, and look, Raul Sáenz was walking there. Yeah, I mean, at some point, we're all connecting here. That's crazy. Beto Barba and Berari, their own universes. But no, not yet. I'm going to hold it until the weekend.
And says, the United States is dangerous, but thousands of Mexicans want to live there. Not so much anymore, Raul. Mexicans have changed a lot. Mexicans who graduate from college or higher go to Europe.
And the Mexican who is average stays here.
Go to Europe.
Yeah, mate, this guy.
And the one who wants to be, well, rural goes to the United States.
But not really.
But I mean, some of them, the ones who are leaving.
No. It's just that they're not leaving anymore. I mean, more are coming back than are leaving. Well, that's true. I mean,
They've been here for several years.
yes, no, it's not about migration anymore. I mean, actually, I see it more the other way around. I see more migration from the United States to here because of the issue of gentrification. Now, they're also considering cities like Mexico City. They're considering cities like Guadalajara, Monterrey, and others. And they say, hey, it looks pretty appealing, right? That also explains it. It's because of younger generations. These are new generations with very different needs. I mean, I'm talking about American kids, right? There are things that maybe they don't need. I mean, things that the United States offers them, but maybe they don't really require them. And they have their online jobs. So, hey, my money will go further in Mexico, but it's only 2 hours away from my home by plane, right? I'm going there. I live in Mexico City. I'm going to visit my mom and we'll be there in 2 hours. Which side? I'll go eat quickly and return. If they're going to Europe or Brazil, it's already a 4 to 6 hour difference, which is another issue. There are a lot of people, which is surprising if you watch YouTube videos. And suddenly X, this American, appears, with 5,000 subscribers. I mean, they're just starting out, but they're already living here, or they're living in X place. Yeah, I find that really interesting, but most of them are young. I mean, before they used to be expats. Didn't they believe him? Yeah, I mean, it used to be older people who retired. That's not the case now. That's not the phenomenon right now. The phenomenon is young people.
Yes, young families, very young, or single people. Yes, that too. Vederi says the world is very small. And Sandy Lynn says, Pepe, that's my town. It was one of the locations for the YouTube video, Hindi. Who says who, Sandy?
Sandy. Hey, well, today everything is here. See, there it is. The multiverse. It is. They could be interesting. Hey, interesting. And which town was it, Sandy? Can we know which town? I thought you were all of Mexico City. He says, I saw how you've been. Greetings. The world is very small. Honestly, yes. Honestly, it's surprisingly small. And there are times, I tell him, people debut. I run into a lot of people. And then there are times when I run into a lot of people I know. And then there are times when I don't run into anyone at all for a long time. Like, I don't. I mean, it's been a while since I've run into anyone. For example, from my university, no one. I mean, and then suddenly you see them everywhere, right? At every event or whatever it is. They're there. But it doesn't matter. We don't go out that much. Anyway, we go
out more than...
And we go out more than before. And still, no, I hardly run into anyone. Nobody. I think that inside the White House, there's someone who puts something in the drinks for the presidents. I think they sedate them. That's bad, right? Someone is controlling it maybe a chef in the White House controlling everything, right? They put something on them like perfume. No, because if you can read the novel, the one about perfume, the novel is good. There's a movie, but it's nothing like the book, and that's part of it, right? Controlled through scent. I mean, the story is really crazy. He says, greetings. He says that. Thank you so much, Vic. Greetings, Vic. Thank you so much. Thank you. You are the best rays on YouTube.
Greetings. And Chris and Christy comment, young people here in the United States are taking all their money out of their 401k retirement accounts and using that money to travel, invest it, or support themselves while they blog. That's what they say. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's because it's not just content creation anymore. There are a ton of online jobs. Juan? Well, I have engineer friends who used to work in the United States or who work for US companies, but they're here. So they have their regular job from a certain time to a certain time. It's basically an engineer's job, but their office is just their house, their living room, and they have their computers and everything there. If they have to travel, then they travel. Suddenly they might say they're going to Spain or wherever to check on some cables or something, and they just go. And that's it. I don't really know what else. And suddenly they're back here working. And then again, suddenly you just find out through social media, right? Suddenly they're in some other country. And really, he's working for the United States. But he's here and he's with his family. And, well, and that's really nice. Because you earn more, you earn in dollars. But still, the expenses here, right? So that's also a very, very interesting topic.
Vikingo says, put on your WhatsApp status that you won. Put that you won the lottery so you can see that you'll run into someone every day. Yeah.
Right. He says, what's up?
How have you been, friend?
It's been a while since I last saw you.
I'm thinking about you all the time. I see you every day, every single day. See, what do we talk about? He says, several guys I worked with who are about 10 years younger than me did that, and were just traveling and living without worries. Greetings, Christy. And she says, what's up? Brezeka says, in my photography class, I met a classmate who is from the same town as my ex, and it's worth mentioning that this town is in Chihuahua, 2,000 kilometers away. Oh, do you know that leader? From a little town. That's crazy.
That's crazy, eh?
He says, dude, I'm showering. I can hear you. Don't look at me.
Yeah, enough.
Maybe not. Martin says, if you don't want to see ads, well, you're not an ad. Greetings. Martin, don't say that.
And what is that?
Marvin says, it's the problem with the 401k, and it's that they charge you a penalty for taking that money out before retirement. They must have a lot of money to pay for that.
So
The pension people will penalize them for withdrawing that. I think that Sandy Lynn says, I'm from Huachitepec, state of Mexico. Yes, I'm about 6 kilometers from Mecamec as the crow flies. Okay. She says her town is about 20 kilometers from the Popocatépetl volcano. Look it up on Google Maps. They have an amazing view of the volcanoes, and that's where the YouTube video was filmed.
Let's see, what's it called? Let's see, the town?
Chitepec in the state.
With a J.
With a J, yes. Huachitepec. Chet.
State of Mexico, State of Mexico. Let's see, let's take a look.
Of course, it says they often film commercials, series, movies, and soap operas here. I mean, it's super cool. Now I see why. No way. Hey, and with how should I say that? It looks really beautiful.
Oh, it's really cool.
I can already imagine you're all gonna have a bunch of foreigners, right, who come and go there.
Yeah.
And they've already gentrified it, right? Yeah. No, girl, it's really beautiful.
It's really beautiful. Let me look for a photo. I'm looking for a photo from some event. I don't know, I guess there must be photos of events, but I can't find any. Just a bunch of aerial shots.
It says here, Christy, comment, those remote jobs that let them live in Mexico are kind of weird. I've worked every day. They don't even let me live or work from another state here.
Yeah.
It's weird to have those kinds of jobs.
Yeah.
Greetings to Clara, he says. I already won the lottery with you guys, says Claudio. Oh, Clara,
That's the most beautiful thing I've ever heard in my life.
He says sorry, and Beto says, please tomorrow let us know if you like Susi 4. That's your homework, okay? We'll listen to it right now.
Okay.
Okay. Panterita says, Sandy, how about Don Goyo's activity? They're asking. Raul Cesar says, I know Juchitepec, but it's far from the volcano.
Yeah.
Very beautiful views, that's for sure, yes.
Yeah.
Sandy said they're about 20 from it.
I'll tell you.
But you can see it. I mean, that's what matters. Greetings to Mario Falcon and greetings. He says from San Martin, Mendoza, Argentina. Hugs. I love you all. You're wonderful company every day. Thank you, Mario.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mario. Greetings. It's one of the views it has. Hello. How are things in Argentina? I heard it's already getting cooler there. I'm not sure if I'm right, if I have the correct information. But please.
Today there were really strong protests. Well, it's because of femicide cases there in Argentina. That's good. It was international news.
Hey, Sandy says here, I'll send you photos on Telegram tomorrow. Okay. All right, yeah, it's done. You can post it in the community too.
Also, yes, they're in the community, remember.
On the YouTube channel.
You can post on the YouTube channel. I haven't checked if anyone has posted anything, but let me check it right now. You go to the channel's community section, right? Okay. And let's see there. Well, it shows up backwards there. But let's say you go to the channel area and Panterita.
Your new Panterita. What? She says, how can I join Telegram?
Telegram. No, well, just download the app and look for us as Pepe and Vivo. I mean, it's like WhatsApp, basically. I mean, I get that you don't have Telegram.
You don't have Telegram, right? Just download the regular app.
Actually, look. Panterita posted about the Mayon volcano. Yeah, or Mayor. I mean, he didn't get it.
Let me look. I'll copy the link for you anyway, Panterita.
He says, see? Is it ready? Mayo. He says Mayo volcano and he puts this photo. And he says Popocatépetl. It's the same. Suddenly it really raises awareness about nature. Says Panterita. Look, there's the image. Thanks a lot, Panterita, for sharing the photo.
I already sent you the Telegram link, Panterita. There it is. Greetings to Raul, and I was telling you about Juchitepec because I took photos there for 4 years. I'll also send you the photos. All right?
All right.
All right. Leonardo Papilla says, if I have a remote job, I'm the one who changes the TV channels. Ha ha ha. Yes, a remote. The dad says, no, joke over the phone. Honey, you won't believe what happened to me. What happened? Well, I was looking for my phone, using the flashlight on my phone. You're so silly. And where was the phone? Oh, classic. Ever feel like you're searching for something you're already carrying?
Yeah, in your hand, in your hand.
No, it's really embarrassing, Sanfei Oscar. He goes, the glasses.
Right? Where are the glasses? And he's wearing them like this.
Panterita, the Mayon in the Philippines and Fuego Volcano in Guatemala. Is something else also active?
Puro. The other day, I was driving and I don't know. I didn't notice it. Maybe I was just distracted or focused or whatever. But one of my lenses, I mean, the black lens, the dark lens, the lens is dark. One was there and one wasn't.
But how did you realize it?
I didn't realize it. I mean, I didn't. And yes, my dad. And since I'm always joking around with glasses and stuff like that, I was joking. But no, I'm not joking.
He gets out as we're about to go to Soriano, wearing glasses with one lens missing, and I start laughing. I say, what are you doing, silly? And what you do is check the glasses. Yeah, of course. How did you not notice?
I didn't notice. I don't know when.
The eye.
It adapted.
It adapted. How strange.
Yeah, I remember thinking it looked weird, so I said I'd clean it up. No, what do you mean it looks weird? Well,
I mean, it doesn't have glass.
Doesn't have glass. No, I mean, if it's in the east, says Martin, Hungary officially lifted the block. Yes, we already mentioned it, Martin. Yes.
Greetings to Domingo, who's just arriving. Domingo, go back to view all the information.
all the information. Hey, well, let's go.
Greetings to Veronica. See you guys. Take care. We're on WhatsApp and Telegram for live notifications, and also on Facebook, X, and Insta.
Great. Have an excellent day. We'll keep talking. See you tomorrow.
We interrupt your regular programming. Thank you for tuning in to The Truth. This is Pepe. Live! The truth is intense, pure! The unusual is real. All right, we break it down here with a global focus. Don't miss out. Tune in to the channel. PP Live controlling the signal. Pepe and Astrid speaking the truth. We respect unfiltered journalism here. Turn on notifications. Don't lose track. Until next time. Yes, sir. We're taking attendance. Suscríbete.